Claude, first of all, congratulations on this new partnership. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, it's exciting. I moved here in 2008 when we set up the golf school under my dad's name, and lived here for 3 years. And almost 10 years later, to have the opportunity to be a part of it as my father moves into semi-retirement, I guess. It's exciting. We have a fantastic team here, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Dubai played a massive role in my development. I mean, we got to build an amazing facility. I mean, we're sitting here amongst all of these high-rises, and when I came here and saw this in 2007, this was desert. They just started moving some dirt. But I think to have the opportunity to do what we did here, I think we definitely changed the landscape of golf instruction in this region, which I'm very proud of. I think the commitment we had to developing players, to talking about fitness, junior development, I think the region here benefited from us being here, and it's something I'm very proud of to be a part of even today.
I think it's fair to say you're known for applying new school teaching concepts in an old school fashion. Can you sort of explain that a little bit more, and maybe give us some examples?
I certainly think that the family tradition that I've had with my father, my grandfather, all my uncles. My dad is probably as old school as it gets, but we have so much technology now that's available, and what I've tried to do is embrace all of the modern kind of concepts and teaching, from using launch monitors, from using 3D, from using kind of weight transfer and weight measurement technology to see how people are moving. But then I think the art of the coaching and the old school part of it is taking all of the information and, for lack of a better word, for the average golfer, dumbing it down and saying, listen, this is what the technology is telling us, and this is how we can, help your game and help you improve your scores.
How instrumental was it going further back that your family was close to Ben Hogan?
My grandfather and Ben were probably best of friends. One of the few real friends that Ben had. Ben was very much an introvert by all accounts, and didn't really kind of have a lot of people that he would open up to. And he and my grandfather were very, very close. They played all of their practice rounds together around the majors. Ben would always come to either, my grandfather was at Wingfoot in the summer and Seminole in Florida in the winter. So around all the majors, Ben would always come in and spend about a month practicing and playing and hanging out. So, I'm very lucky that, our family, we have a very long history. I'm a third generation golf instructor. My father was a golf instructor. My grandfather was a golf instructor, and it's pretty interesting and that everybody in our family, certainly the majority of the men, have all kind of followed in the footsteps of our grandfather.
Now, just getting into your own sort of coaching career, what's the greatest challenge when you're coaching players of the highest level like DJ and Brooks, and do they share anything in common in terms of their swing?
Brooks and DJ are very similar type players in that they spend a lot of time together on the golf course. They spend a lot of time together off the golf course. They have similar type builds in that they're both very athletic. DJ's obviously a little bit taller than Brooks, and the body shape is a little bit different, but their commitment to fitness, they both hit the golf ball a long way. They both have a lot of speed. They're both very athletic off the golf course. So they would play other sports. They could play other sports. They could play, DJ could play basketball, he could play baseball. Brooks could play, in high school he could have been a football player or a wrestler or a baseball player. So I think the thing that they share in common is they're both very, very good athletes, and the way they approach golf is very much from an athlete's and an athletics point of view, for sure.
And how do you switch from working with bombers like that to, say, a Jimmy Walker?
Jimmy can still move it, the same. He's got similar speeds to Brooks and DJ, maybe, 5-6 mile per hour difference. But obviously there's a speed component that DJ and Brooks have that very, very few athletes have. And, you don't really change how you work with them. It's just, you just try and get what each player does. I think one of the reasons why I've been successful is you try and just look at the player as an individual and say, all right, this is what he does, this is what he doesn't do, this is what he does great, this is what he can improve on, and what you try and do is make them the best version of themselves. Yeah. I think a lot of times in sports, and specifically in golf, everybody's trying to be somebody else. They're trying to mimic what other people do, what other players do, what other, ideas are. And my goal is to try and make all of the golfers I work with, whether they're, number one in the world, or whether they're, someone here on the driving range that's a 15, 20 handicap. You're just trying to make them the best version of themselves with the tools that they have.
In your Florida Academy, you offer a total game evaluation package. Are you planning to offer something similar as a
Yeah, I
personal
think we
service?
will, start to incorporate that. It allows me to spend, I think the package that we do, it's 6 hours in a day, and we work for 3 hours in the morning, have some lunch, and work for 3 hours in the afternoon. That allows us to look at full swing, short game, putting. It allows us to get out on the golf course and see a player and how they perform out on the golf course. But yeah, it is kind of taking kind of a 35,000 foot view of everything that the player does, and we're going to get a good gauge and give the player a good roadmap as to how to kind of, practice and the things that they need to work on.